This is a carefully planned heist. A security company named Fortico is moving a cash-filled armored vehicle when suddenly a cement truck blocks the road. The robbers use an excavator to lift the armored vehicle to stop it from driving away, force open the doors, and use stun devices to take down the security personnel. However, they fail to notice a boy in a nearby car who is watching the entire robbery. When the robbers realize this, they order the boy out of the car. Confused and shaking, he tries to call his father, but his dad is already on the phone. Overcome with fear, the boy can only do what the robbers say and lies down on the ground. As the robbers are moving the money bags, a security officer suddenly fights back, pulling off a robber's mask. The robber takes him down to hide their identities. The robbers then eliminate the other security staff, including the boy. The boy's father, Patrick Hill, witnesses his son being taken from him and furiously goes after the robbers but is struck down. Before losing consciousness, he fixes his eyes on the scarred face of the person who hurt him, memorizing it. He does not pass away, however. After 3 months of treatment, he finally leaves the hospital and applies for a job at the robbed security company. The manager, Terry, brings up the truck incident, noting that 2 guards and a civilian lost their lives. He mentions it was a terrible tragedy and that they still have not found the people responsible. He informs Patrick Hill that he will be stepping in for them, but first he needs to pass some weapon handling tests. He is trained all day by a guard nicknamed Bullet, barely reaching the minimum level needed to become a guard. Once approved, they give Patrick the nickname H. Later he meets the other guards, including Hollow, Bob, and a guy they call Boy Sweat Dave. Their first assignment begins with H, and as expected the day goes smoothly with everything going according to plan. The next day, H and Dave head out for work. Suddenly, armed robbers using radios force them to stop, having caught them in their sights. They order H to throw the money bags into the back of a pickup truck. But he deliberately drops one from the truck. As one of the armed men approaches, H tosses a bag but quickly takes the man down. He continues dealing with all the armed men with perfect accuracy, neutralizing each one before going after the leader. He chases the leader through nearby buildings, corners him and takes him down for good. H's actions at work are reviewed by Terry, who tells him he will be working at a desk for at least a month. However, Fortico CEO Blake steps up and praises him, suggesting he deserves a promotion, saying what H did takes real courage and that he is a true hero. H is then called in to review video footage of the earlier truck robbery to see if any of the armed men in the recent incident look familiar. He stares at one particular person but tells the others that nothing stands out to him. Then 2 agents are revealed to be working for an agent named King, who believes H will lead him and his team to the person behind the first robbery. The other guards applaud H's actions. He thanks them and then gets back to his regular routine. 3 months pass. Bullet and H are on the road when a bicycle blocks their way and they are surrounded by armed men. A smoke device is used, forcing Bullet to step out of the truck. However, when H steps out and shows his face, the armed men seem to recognize him and immediately back off. Back at headquarters, Terry cannot understand why the armed men walked away from the money just by seeing H's face. But Blake steps in and silences Terry, telling H that he will now have his own team and continue doing what he does best. Bullet talks with Boy Sweat Dave and calls H a dark soul, hinting at more to come. Later that night, H enters the home of a guard named Dana. When he finds a large amount of cash in her apartment, he questions her. He fires several rounds nearby to frighten her, and she reveals that she took some money from a job months ago. H shows her 2 photos of her parents, warning her of serious consequences if she is not honest with him. The story then goes back 5 months earlier. H is with his son Duj, who was visiting the United States on a trip. H gets a call from his former criminal associate Mike, who is also the leader of the group H had left behind. Mike is asking H for help with one last job but says H does not need to be directly involved and that there is no danger at all. H and Duj drive near the docks where the robbery is about to take place, simply letting Mike know which direction the truck is heading. While H is getting food for himself and Duj, something terrible happens. He witnesses his son being taken from him. H is in a very bad state for nearly 3 months before recovering, only to be told that Duj had passed away. He meets with his ex-wife Jane, who holds H responsible for what happened to their son. Later he meets with Mike and his associates, all of whom played a role in what happened to Duj, and agrees to let H find those responsible. He makes it clear he needs to know who was behind it. The group then questions the criminal underworld, moving from one contact to another until a man is questioned and gives up the names of some criminal brothers. H is taken to a building where the brothers are involved in all kinds of serious wrongdoing. They have no useful information. H takes care of the brothers. He notices a guard working there, which is why he has his assistant Kirsty pull up some documents. These include background checks on the guards and the report on Duj's passing. We are then introduced to the people behind the first robbery. A team of former veterans from Afghanistan who feel overlooked and disrespected in America, led by a man named Jackson. His crew includes Carlos, Sam, Tom, Brad, and finally Jan, the one who took Duj from this world and struck H. They are seen planning the truck heist at a party held for Jackson. The crew starts the robbery and notices that H and Duj have stopped nearby during the process. Sam orders Duj out of the car and tells him to lie on the ground. Jan jumps the railing and takes down 2 guards. When he realizes Duj has seen his face, he makes sure Duj does not make it. Then he strikes H. After that robbery, the crew is already planning their next and final heist. A total exceeding $150 million is to be split among them and their inside man, who turns out to be Bullet. Jackson and Tom go over the plan weeks in advance. They are all concerned about Jan knowing his recent actions went beyond what was planned. But Jackson believes he will ultimately fall in line. The crew heads to Foro, where Bullet confesses to H that he is the one who has been feeding the crew information about which trucks to target. He warns H that they will come after him if he does not go along with it. He then disables the cameras and leads them into an abandoned building. Jackson's crew, dressed in heavy protective gear, enters the truck after securing H's hands. The robbery gets underway without a problem. But a guard panics and hits the emergency button. Things escalate quickly as rounds are fired and they blast open the door of their hideout. They begin taking out everyone in sight, and midway through one of their own gets hurt. When they turn off the emergency signal, they open the gate, letting the last member bring in their pickup truck to start loading the cash. Meanwhile, the SWAT team has been alerted and is 8 minutes away. As the authorities manage to block the entrance and SWAT arrives, H manages to grab one of the attacker's weapons, striking him in the leg, then putting him in a hold until the man stops resisting. He smartly puts on protective gear. He walks up to a man loading cash into the truck and makes him take off his helmet. When it is not the person who took his son, he moves on. Jackson's other crew members are pinned down by Dana and another guard. Wasting no time, Bullet steps forward when he runs over to Dana to help them. But when handed a weapon, he turns on both of them in the corridor. Dave tries to hold his ground as Terry is forced out. H appears and gets into a fierce one-on-one confrontation. He is hurt but ultimately manages to take the attacker down. Jackson's men pick up their injured teammate and head toward the vehicle as H fires at them. Dave tries to stand up and is struck when Terry is forced to come out. As H hears a sound behind him, he is hit, leaving him to believe the worst. He reloads and calls Dave, letting him know the armed men have gone. As Dave lifts his head up, he is struck multiple times as they drive away. H carefully watches Jan and recognizes him as the one responsible for Duj's passing. As the two lock eyes, they open the gate and ram the armored vehicle into 2 police cars. They are then chased by SWAT and even helicopters. After taking some minor damage, they enter a building and block the way behind them. They have 5 minutes to get away and plan to use an underground passage tunnel that the public does not know about. Jackson, who was hurt by H landing a good hit that grazed his neck, is finished off by Jan when they are forced to leave the truck behind. Jan and Bullet take the money down using an elevator, load the bags onto quad bikes, travel 3 miles, and arrive in front of a waiting car. When Bullet realizes Jan is not to be trusted, he tries to act first, but Jan is faster and takes Bullet down for good. Jan continues to flee with all the money. With hundreds of tunnels to choose from, he gets away as the authorities cannot cover all of them in time. After a while, Jan sits in an apartment with all the cash. Then a phone rings inside his bag. Suddenly H appears behind him and tosses Duj's report in front of him. Jan picks it up confused and begins reading about the injuries that took Duj's life, the wounds to his liver, lungs, spleen, and heart. Jan looks at Duj's photo and remembers H staring up at him from the ground. H then makes Jan feel exactly what Duj felt, striking him in the same places one by one. He leaves the apartment and meets with Agent Kim. Afterward, H gets into a car with another man and drives away. Assuring him that the matter is taken care of and that the stolen money can likely be recovered. Revenge can consume a person completely after losing a loved one. H shows us the power of patience and careful planning. Would you seek personal revenge like H if someone hurt your family, or would you leave it to the police? Betrayal from people you trust can come from anywhere. Never underestimate a father's love and determination. Violence often leads to more violence and pain. Justice sometimes requires personal courage beyond the law. Past mistakes will always catch up with criminals. Loyalty and trust should be earned, not given blindly. One moment of carelessness can destroy innocent lives. Do you think H's actions at the end brought him real peace? True strength is found in protecting the weak. Like and subscribe for more movie recaps. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this. Turn on notifications so you never miss new videos. Share your answers to the questions in the comments section below. Thank you for watching.